Hey everybody, and welcome back to World of Warships with Nubicon. This is a game I recently played in my Fuso. And yes, it's on the ocean map. I can hear you all groaning in the background already. Don't worry, I haven't left this as the 20-minute game it was. I've cut it down pretty severely. As you can see, Fuso has a pretty long range once you launch that spotter aircraft. Boosts it out to maybe 26-27 kilometers. And even when the shots get out there, they're pretty tightly grouped within at least 300 meters of each other, as this cruiser is just about to find out. Take a look over and we put some shots into this. I think it's a Haruna. Yeah, it's yellow coloured, it's Haruna from the ARP missions. And just because you can shoot at this range, it doesn't mean that it's a good idea. Spotter aircraft on the Fuso is pretty damn pointless, to be honest with you, even though we get a really good hit on this Haruna. But where the ship should be played is in a little bit closer. You don't want to play this ship right up in their face. It's not a ship that'll take that kind of punishment. Where you want to play this ship is mid-range to a little bit further out, probably in that 14-kilometer range, where you know you're going to strike targets. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be super aggressive in the ship if you see the situation. Battleships, sometimes you just see too many people being too afraid to get in close with their battleships. They don't understand that these ships, while some are not as armoured as others, these ships can take a pounding and they can give it back, especially if they're in closer. Now that doesn't mean that, like I said before, you don't want to get up super close into their face. But for some reason, I see a lot of Kongo and a lot of Fuso drivers sitting well outside the engagement zone, like almost on the edge of the map. Just because you can fire that far, doesn't mean that that's the best position for you. The Kongo only has 254mm of armour on her armour belt at most. But angled properly, these ships will bounce shots pretty well. You can see there, that Fuso, I've hit it straight on. It's a bit of RNG as well, but it didn't take much damage from my hits. Now of course that doesn't mean you can't be damaged fairly well by them. Well, watch this. Put some really good shots in on this Cleveland, and none of them actually did penetrate its citadel, and I still managed to do well over 12,000 damage to him. You can see right there, I'm not angled properly, so I took a lot of damage, and I realized that, and I quickly turned this ship in mode and get the steeper angle on the angling of my armor. I'm just trying to make sure that I get as many guns as I can pointed at this Fuso. We managed to take him out. And that was just simply because he was sailing broadside onto me. If he had angled, Fuso has 305mm of armor on her belt. If he had angled properly, I wouldn't have been able to penetrate as many shots as I did. Even though they weren't citadels, they still did 5,000 damage. That's a penetrating shot, but it's not a penetrating shot in a citadel area. And even though they weren't citadel shots, that kind of damage is still gonna mount up, especially if you hit 3 and 4 and 5, lots of 5,000 damage. Cruisers can only do 5,000 damage when they actually penetrate the citadel. A battleship can do that by just hitting just about anywhere and penetrating and doing damage. I'm trying to focus down this Cleveland. And I'm also trying to pay attention to where I am in this capture point, but unfortunately I accidentally stray outside, and I think not capturing that point or just letting myself go outside that point is what costs us this game in the end, unfortunately. I turn around and I start focusing on the aircraft carrier over towards the bottom of the map, and there's the Confederate, another citadel. I'm trying to take this guy out as fast as I can, but he stays alive a lot longer than I was hoping, because he starts doing some reasonably good evasive maneuvers. He knows he has to keep trying to turn in a sort of unpredictable manner. And I'm using armor piercing here because I'm trying to take him out as fast as I can. And it takes a little bit longer than I was hoping. There's the high caliber award. I know everyone was probably screaming at me, fire high explosive, but there's no point at this point in the game. We need to kill as many as we can, and you can see sneaky little destroyers now capturing the C point, and there's, just before he goes down, his dive bomber sets me on fire again. He must have set me on fire about 5 or 6 times in this game. There's that Haruna that I actually hit at the beginning of the game. And it takes forever to hit him and take him out in this. I must have fired 5 or 6 volleys in this little section here trying to destroy the Haruna, and I'm thinking he's such low health. I was hoping that everyone else was gonna fire as well at him as well, but they just don't do it. He disappears, and I focus on this New Mexico. You see, just put some pretty good shots in on me. I was just so focused on trying to hit that Haruna. Now I've got the scout plane out. What the scout plane does, it may not be great for shooting at super long range, but it does give you a different perspective on where your shots might land. And in the end, this is probably what helped me to actually hit this guy and finally put an end to his tirade on my team and myself. This New Mexico really wants me now. I get some good hits into him anyway. 7,000 damage is not much for a battleship, I know. Still, it's a reasonable hit. He wouldn't have liked it much. As we finally land some shots on this Haruna and finally take it out, and that's the Kraken. Put the rest of the shots into the New Mexico. Do some damage, about 1,000 each shot, I think, because either over penetrations because we hit the superstructure or something like that. You can see we're so far behind on points, it isn't funny. In the end, we just don't have the time to kill them all, and we have gotten the upper hand, but it's just unfortunately not going to be enough for us. Eventually I think the New Mexico is sailing around the other side of the B point after he captured A point. Finishes this guy off. And at this point I can already see that even if I take this guy out, we're not going to catch up on points, and that destroyer, he's captured the C point and he's taken off and he's hiding. So yeah, it was, at this point, it felt pretty inevitable. You knew exactly what was about to happen. You can see we just got down to 56 seconds to go, and just ticks down from there. And finally our New Mexico takes this guy out, but it's not enough. Unfortunately, this game is a defeat. It's not a bad defeat. Kraken, high caliber. We did 157,951 damage. We came top of the team, 1,400 experience. Did a hell of a lot of damage. Got a hell of a lot of credits too. And so even though it was a defeat, we got a pretty good reward there. So anyway folks, that's it for today. Give us a like, share us with a friend, don't forget to comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll catch you all next time.